Hello, everyone, and welcome to my review of the latest episode of Marvel's What If television series, animated series, if that matters. I hope you're all doing well on this, what day is it now? Wednesday morning? Yes, Wednesday morning. With the holiday, it always throws my internal clock off a little bit. So let's get into it. Even though this series is not, at least not yet, some kind of continuous narrative or anything, although more likely than not, as has been teased, there will be a interdimensional Avengers collected by the end of the series or thereabouts. This episode felt probably the most filler of all the episodes, if that makes any sense. Again, since we're not talking about a continuous story arc. This will probably be a very short review because there's not a whole lot to say except for some sort of Easter egg type stuff and quibbles and things about some of the plot and so on, such as it was. Before I get there, hello to those of you who are joining me this morning. Dr. Functional, Tyra Deos. Tyra. I really want to get these names right. So if, unless you appreciate my fumbling over your name and it turns into a new nickname as Bridget, whatever, or Adonis Bartolote, and so on. It's Alama and Steven Torres. I think I got those right. All right, so what do? Well, we start off with the Hulk crashing down at the beginning of what would be Infinity War, if this were the regular continuity. Mark Ruffalo comes back to voice, himself. And so he's crashed into the Sanctum Sanctorum. There's nobody around. He puts on some robes. Let's see. Do we have that there? I wonder if I can find that one frame. Anyway, as he's getting up out of the stairs, you see Doctor Strange's cape, the cloak of levitation, I should say, just looking at him over the balcony. And so Bruce Banner is like, "Where is everybody? Hello, hello." And then a portal opens up, and it's the, what are they called? The Obsidian Order, the Obsidian Guard. The Black Order, I forget what it is. Thanos' thugs. They show up to do what they're going to do at the beginning of Infinity War. Here's a question. Thanos' forces are an invading force of aliens from another planet. They have ships dotted up around the world getting ready to invade. This reminds me of the, you ever see the movie Signs from M. Night Shyamalan? Amongst the many narrative and logical sins of that film, the biggest one being that these aliens, spoiler alert, by the way, if you've never seen Signs, these aliens show up to Earth, wherein it is covered in 3/4 of what is effectively deadly acid to them, i.e. water. And yet, knowing this, they still come down to Earth to invade. Intergalactic super beings, as compared to humans, and it's like, oh, let's go land on that planet. Let's take over that planet. So Thanos's invasion forces don't notice that the better part of at least the continental United States, if not all of North America, is desolate and covered in zombies. But they land anyway. Okay. So anyway, so they land and they start doing their speech and everything, and Banner tries to Hulk out, but he can't Hulk out because we have this plot contrivance where the Hulk can't appear anymore. A good theory was put out by Screen Crush on that, in preparation for the She-Hulk TV show, they want to come up with reasons why Banner can't turn into the Hulk to save themselves on the CGI costs of having to actively animate a full CGI character on top of She-Hulk in the upcoming She-Hulk TV series. That's an interesting concept, I suppose. I guess it makes some kind of sense. Could also be rights issues or something, because I think Universal Studios still owns some of the rights to the Incredible Hulk, and there might be some haziness there as to how much he can appear or to what degree before they start running into issues. Anyway, so the Black Order, what's his name here, starts giving his speech, and then all of a sudden, we have a sling ring portal open up and an Iron Hand come out, and oh boy, it's the Avengers. They're fighting the bad guys. Oh my gosh, except they're zombies. Oh my God, they're all zombies, if you can believe it. And so Banner's like, what the hell? And then zombie Iron Man's like, I'm going to kill you. And then, oh my gosh, all of a sudden they're attacked. And the cape, the cloak of levitation, starts battling back against them, which is kind of fun. I always like the cloak of levitation, the voiceless character that kind of added a little bit of humor. Well, where there already was humor in the Doctor Strange movie, where it probably shouldn't have been. And speaking of humor, there's a very familiar tone of humor to this episode. I'll get to that momentarily. Anyway, so the cape is pulling back against the zombies and trying to save Banner. And then all of a sudden, all the zombies are attacked by swarms of something. Oh my gosh, what could it be? And all these swarms of something just like eat all the zombies down to their bones. I mean, it's like an instantaneous thing. The zombies have no chance against these clouds of ants that are just suddenly showing up. It's almost like the zombies don't pose a threat to someone that can control a whole cloud of ants. By the way, we never see this tactic used again anytime in the episode. Cloud of ants defeats zombie Doctor Strange, zombie Iron Man, and zombie Wong, who all still retain the knowledge, able to use their powers and their equipment, by the way. But we never see this again in the episode. Anyway, so yeah, the swarm of ants eats all the zombies up. Even a giant ant eats up part of the zombie, and Banner's like, what the hell? And then Spider-Man swings in to save Banner, and it was Hope Van Dyne. Hope Van Dyne, is as the Wasp, was controlling the ants to eat up the super zombies. A tactic we never see again in the episode. Okay. And then we get a little backstory as to what's going on here. Well, in this reality, it wasn't a choice that changed all of reality. It was a plot contrivance, I guess. So at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Hank Pym is going off to the quantum realm to try to save his wife, Janet Van Dyne, who he believes is trapped in the quantum realm after having saved them, I think, from some sort of rocket back in the 60s, and she had to shrink down to quantum level to save everybody and all that kind of thing. So she's been trapped in the quantum realm for 30 years or whatever. And so he goes to the quantum realm to save her, and he finds her. Oh, but she's got a quantum disease, and she's actually a quantum zombie. And she attacks Hank Pym, and they both get back into the little craft. Remember, even though everybody's zombies, they all still retain the ability, the knowledge, etc., to operate machinery, perform magic, on and on and on. But they're mindless killing machines. Just remember that. Okay. So anyway, so they come back to the real world from the quantum realm, and they are zombies, and they attack Scott Lang, and Hope gets away. And then within, I think they said like a few days or something, all of the North America was overtaken with the zombie stuff, and so everybody's zombies. And then the Avengers show up. Okay, the Avengers show up to, I think it's supposed to be zombie-shrouded San Francisco. And save for maybe Iron Man and Black Panther, the Avengers show up completely unprepared for the threat that is right in front of their faces, which is a bunch of zombies. They're not wearing any special armor. Tony didn't come up with some kind of suits for them or something. They didn't diagnose the problem even on the lamest Night of the Living Dead knowledge level of attacking zombies. Nope, they just show up, their necks exposed, skin exposed. I'm still curious as to what events transpired to allow Tony Stark to get bitten, since he's wearing the Iron Man armor the whole time. Same thing for T'Challa. Actually, well, I take it back. T'Challa's a different issue. We'll get to that later. Anyway, so the Avengers, all 5 of them, show up to fight the zombies, and oh my gosh, they're overrun because Hank Pym, down in his Ant-Man form, bites Captain America on the neck, and that's enough to infect Captain America, and then everything goes to hell, and the Avengers get their rear ends kicked. Now, we cut to an advice video on, so you want to survive the zombie apocalypse. And if it wasn't already obvious, for those of you that have watched movies in the last 10 years or so, the humor slash sort of atmosphere of this episode is Zombieland. If you haven't seen Zombieland, it's worth a watch. It's fun. Don't watch the sequel. It's a waste of time, but it's Zombieland. It's taking the zombie genre and just making sort of a tongue-in-cheek, lighthearted joke of it in a way, which is fine. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of zombie plots. Not to put a phrase on it, I think they've been done to death at this point. So whatever, I wasn't offended by it or anything. It did, I suppose, in a way, soften some of the horror aspect of it, which kind of detracts from the whole idea, I guess. But I mean, to their credit, they make everything kind of gross. There's like exploding zombies and things. Noticeably, no red blood, except for, I think, one instance where we see someone with a cut on their arm, which we'll get to presently. I don't think we see any red blood in this entire thing. It's all green goo and stuff. So, but still, it's Disney. It's a family show, right? Anyway, so we get this Spider-Man zombie apocalypse advice film where we introduce other characters that have survived the zombie apocalypse. Happy Hogan. Let's see who else. Yeah, so there's that. It took me a minute to remember who this was. This is Kurt. Kurt, if I remember correctly, and I don't think I'm completely wrong, was one of Ant-Man's friends, the tall Russian guy with the big hair in Ant-Man. Or at least Russian, Ukrainian, Eastern European. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so he's alive. And so they're doing I don't know who they're making this advice video for or how they are broadcasting it, but they're making it. So that makes sense, kind of. Anyway, so Bucky Barnes is still alive after the events of Civil War. Although I'm not quite sure. I guess he was brought back from Wakanda because we have someone from Wakanda in here too. Anyway, so Bucky Barnes is still alive. Sharon Carter is still around, I guess, in her pre-Power Broker days. And then we have, I always get her name wrong. I forget how to say it. Anyway, the captain of the guard from Wakanda, she's here too. Presumably, again, she brought Bucky from Wakanda with her here. Which also causes a whole bunch of questions to arise in my mind as we get later on in the episode, because how did they get from Wakanda to here? And then we have a transportation issue later, which makes no sense, but we'll get there. Anyway, so they've got this secret base, and I hope I can find the frame that shows it here. Okay, I can just okay, anyway, I can't quite fall on that same frame, but their base is a whole bunch of subway cars spider-webbed up between buildings in the middle of the city, high above ground. So, I mean, it's a smart, sort of idea from a sort of tactical and defensive standpoint. Except Spider-Man's webs dissolve after a certain amount of time, or at least that's how they worked in the comic books. By canon, that base should be good for maybe about 8 hours or something before it all falls apart. But then, I don't know, maybe he cooked up a permanent solution for his web fluid in this instance, or I don't know. Anyway, I'm being a nitpicker there, but that's what I do. So anyway, they're analyzing stuff and things and information and stuff, and they determine from some signals that they're getting that there may be a cure being created at Camp Lehigh. Remember Camp Lehigh? That's where Captain America got his powers and the first SHIELD base and all that. So they need to get to Camp Lehigh because they think by this information that they have that someone's working on a cure. How they figured that out, I don't even remember. It's just hand waved. There you go. So again, now the plot problem becomes, how do we get from the middle of New York City to Camp Lehigh? Again, how did Bucky and Captain of the Guard get from Wakanda to America? I mean, how classically would they have gotten there from every other MCU source we've seen so far when it comes to traveling from Wakanda to anywhere? Well, on one of the Wakandan aircraft. Apparently that just isn't an option. So instead, we have to take a trip to Grand Central Station, if I'm getting my geography right here, and commandeer a subway train to go to Camp Lehigh. We can't fly. We don't have access to any aircraft. We can't shrink everybody down and put them on ants to ride there, a la Ant-Man. No, we have to get everybody to a subway car in the middle of zombie-ridden New York City. Okay. Anyway, so they get to zombie-ridden Grand Central Station or whatever, and they're all here's our team. Here's our team of pseudo Avengers, and they're going to get down to the subway car, and they got to start it up, and they got to get it moving, except it's stuck or something, and so they need to find a way to unstuck it. And while they're working on doing that, well, of course, there's a zombie attack by a whole bunch of zombies. And so Happy Hogan has one of the Iron Man, like the little the watch Iron Man hand deal that we saw in Civil War. He's got that, so that's his superpower. And so they're being attacked. Sharon Carter's there with him. But he got shot through the elbow, or sorry, the shoulder with something. He's dragged off in the darkness. Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, we're still trying to get the train car out, and Spider-Man's trying to pull it out with his webs. And then Sharon Carter is not shot through the heart, and you're to blame, but with an arrow, because it's Zombie Hawkeye. Zombie Hawkeye! And so Zombie Hawkeye is there, and then Zombie Falcon shows up in the main area of the station and attacks Bucky Barnes and Captain of the Guard. And so Captain of the Guard and Bucky Barnes fight Zombie Falcon, while Happy has been turned into a zombie at this point, is attacking Sharon. And so zombie fight, everybody fights everybody. Falcon gets the drop on Bucky Barnes. Happy's about to get the drop on Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter reaches out, turns Happy's own weapon against him, and Happy shoots himself. Then zombies come out because the zombies don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Zombie Hawkeye stuff. Zombie Falcon is about to attack. And then Captain of the Guard comes up and slices Zombie Falcon in half, which is kind of gross. And then she says something to the effect to Bucky. She's like, I know he was your friend. And he says, I should be upset, but I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I understand that they're going for this whole Zombieland humor thing, but there is even in the midst of that, there's an absolute lack of sentimentality amongst the characters, all things considered. I mean, probably the most egregious example is coming up, but I mean, I get it. It's a cartoon show. It's a zombie story. They're trying to keep it relatively lighthearted. There's just something a little bit too detached from some of the characters here. I mean, it would have been nice to have a little bit of like, gosh, this person's my friend. This person helped me. I fought beside this person. I was buddies with this person. They saved my life, kind of thing. Oh, well. I mean, I know Bucky Barnes is the Winter Soldier, but does he have to have a heart of ice? Anyway, so so Sharon survived the zombie onslaught, and they get the train car moving after Peter Parker is almost eaten by zombies. And then the Wasp shows up to save the day again. Again, somehow there's no cloud of ants that can just eat zombies again. And we have to go to the subway car. It's the only way to get to Camp Lehigh. We don't have any aircraft. We don't have any other options that could keep us away from the zombie threat. Has to be a subway car in the middle of... Anyway, so they get on the subway car finally, and they get moving, and they bust through all the zombies, and they're on the way to Camp Lehigh. And we have inconsequential conversation on the train, and then they're on the train, and then all of a sudden, Zombie Captain America shows up because Zombie Captain America tracked them on a moving train to wherever they're going. Okay, so anyway, so Zombie Captain America shows up, and Bucky has to fight Zombie Captain America. There he is in all his glory, Zombie Captain America, who still has his shield and still knows how to use it, and etc. So anyway, so Bucky has to face off against Zombie Captain America. Instead of just shooting him, which conceivably he could do. Wasp shows up, and because Bucky got like knocked down or whatever, so Wasp shows up and she goes to fight Zombie Captain America, but that doesn't work. And so finally, Bucky gets the shield, throws it at Captain America, cuts him in half, and he goes flopping off down into the train tunnel. And then Bucky's got the shield. Okay. Oh, but Sharon Carter, in the process of things, got bitten by Zombie Captain America. And now Zombie Sharon Carter is Zombie Sharon Carter. Oh my God. And then the Wasp, I guess I skipped over that part. Sorry, guys. The tracking on this is very difficult. So anyway, let me back up a little bit. Sharon Carter got bitten by Zombie Captain America, right? And then while Bucky's fighting Zombie Captain America, the Wasp flew into, I guess, Sharon Carter's mouth or ear or something, and then she enlarges herself and explodes Zombie Sharon Carter in this freeze frame, which is all perfectly set up here. Which harkens back to the meme, if some of you will remember, when Infinity War came out, where it was, why didn't Ant-Man just fly up Thanos' butt and enlarge himself there and kill Thanos? That's what this reminded me of. Although on a much less impressive scale, where it's just Zombie Sharon Carter. But anyway, so Zombie Sharon Carter's dead. Also, a theme that I saw here, and I know I'm being maybe a little bit oversensitive, obviously. Nearly, and I say nearly every instance of rescuing someone and or self-sacrifice in this episode is on the part of a female character. Not everyone. It's not all. Hashtag not all. But I was just kind of like, most of the men in this episode, superheroes or otherwise, come across as kind of ineffective in a lot of instances. Just all of a sudden. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I, too, can occasionally read between the lines of a cookbook. Anyway, so Sharon Carter's dead. All of this is pretty much meaningless, except for the fact that now we have Hope Van Dyne has been cut. And I think that's probably the only time you'll ever see anything akin to red blood in this entire episode. And it's a cut that's not even bleeding, which I also found interesting. So anyway, she's presumably been infected in the process of fighting Zombie Sharon Carter. So they're going along, the Watcher's watching as he does. She's going to have the slow zombie transformation, a la, let's say, Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead, with the helicopter pilot guy slowly turn into a zombie. Whereas everybody else in this thing turned into a zombie within 5 minutes just from a bite. Like little tiny zombie Ant-Man turned Captain America into a zombie within minutes. Anyway, so she's got some time apparently. So she knows her time is up, and and then we have this weird, very out of place sentimental moment where Spider-Man / Peter Parker goes over why he's able to keep such a cheerful attitude during all of this. And my first thought was convenient writing. But no, he explains that at some point in the past, Aunt May told him that something to the effect of, if you stop smiling and they take that from you, then what's the point, or something like that. So just keep smiling, even through the death of, his parents and Uncle Ben, and then Aunt May, and then Tony Stark, and then all his friends and everything. Yeah. Just keep smiling. And this is played up as a very emotional, sort of touching moment. And oh my gosh. And, oh, it's so sweet. Oh, so sweet. Anyway, so that happens, and they're all touchy-feely, emotional stuff, and it's very heartwarming. And oh, by the way, we're still in a zombie apocalypse, and she's still going to die then at some point. We still have to find a cure. That we think there's a cure there. We don't know that there's a cure at Camp Lehigh, and this train is still going autopilot, I suppose, somehow, even though we don't have a plane. And that whole ants eating the zombies tactic has never come up again. So they keep. Nothing happens. It's just talk, and the plot is not moved at all until we finally get to the camp. And so they get to the outskirts of the camp, and they don't have any other options. So Hope decides to sacrifice herself by embiggening herself and carrying everybody to their destination in a sacrifice play, literally, as zombies are crawling all over her. and she marches them to the fence and drops them off on the other side, and then is overtaken by Count Dankula. I mean, that's kind of who I see here. When I saw this, I was like, oh, so Count Dankula is killing the Wasp. Let's see if I can get another. Can I get a better freeze frame of that? I guess not. Okay. Well, anyway. So yeah. Oh well. So she falls over and she's quote unquote dead. Now, who thought this was a good idea for her to be giant while being attacked by zombies? I don't know, because good ideas don't seem to occur in this episode, even though it is a silly zombie episode. This is part of the problem with the sort of the tone of the whole thing. On the one hand, we're trying to have a zombie land, tongue-in-cheek, sort of like goofy, over-the-top humor during the zombie apocalypse, and yet at the same time, they try to put in these moments of attempting to actually drum up some kind of sentimentality, some kind of emotion, but it just doesn't fit. So it's very uneven. And I know I'm critiquing a cartoon show here, but hey, this is supposed to be high quality stuff. Anyway, so the zombies, for some reason, will not go any further than the fence. Something is keeping them or repelling them from entering the camp. And the Vision shows up because, the Vision's there. He never attempted to make contact with anybody else. Apparently just abandoned the Avengers. Nobody thought to ask where did the Vision go, or how could the Vision possibly have succumbed to any of this since he's not human or flesh and blood. Only now, oh, the Vision's here. Okay. Thank you, John Miller. I mean, there are never good ideas in zombie movies. There have been intelligent zombie movies. People acting relatively intelligently, except that's the whole thing. The zombies are the overwhelming force of nature kind of thing. They're the unavoidable end of all. Metaphors abound. But like internal logic, right? Internal logic, internal consistency. That's, anyway. What am I doing here? I'm critiquing a zombie cartoon show. Anyway, so not Zombie Vision. I want to say Zombie Vision. Vision is here at Camp Lehigh. He's the one that's been sending out the waves of transmitting signals or something. And his theory is that the Mind Stone, its energy, its frequency or something, is repelling the zombies from attacking. Right? But not only that, he was able to cure the zombieism using the Mind Stone. And his one success story is Scott Lang in a jar. Or Scott Lang's head in a jar, somehow still functioning and preserved and operating in a jar. It smacks a little bit of Futurama, for those of you that know Futurama. But yeah, so Vision has one example of how he can cure a part of a person with his Mind Stone, whatever. We don't actually see this process take place, so I'm not quite sure how it's supposed to work. Well, here's my thought, though. If you actually look, let's go back a little bit here. If you actually look at the people surrounding, okay, how do you cure being a rotten, messed up, mangled corpse? Right. I mean, and I suppose if you just eradicate all the zombies, you've conceivably eradicated the disease. But if you cure this guy here, what kind of life is he going to have? I'm not quite sure, because nearly every zombie we see, even if they've only been a zombie for about 3 seconds or something, is a rotting husk. So not quite sure what quality of life is going to occur if you cure somebody when they're in that state. But anyway, so yes, the Vision has found a way to somehow cure zombieism. And all the people are like, well, hey, you've got the cure. And he's just like, I don't know what to do or how to make it go worldwide. We got to figure that out, I guess, and stuff. And so Bucky decides to go investigate around the camp for reasons, to make sure it's safe, to whatever. And they're kind of talking, and then Bucky comes across T'Challa. T'Challa's alive. Not only is he alive, he's not a zombie. He's just laying there. How did he get captured? Well, we'll get there in a moment. Anyway, so they're wandering around, and there's somebody else down here too, behind glass. Who is this? Who is this mysterious figure with the red energy coming out all around her, and is now using said energy to break the glass she's encaged in? Anyway, so T'Challa fumbles in. And by the way, you didn't see it because I can't get that freeze frame. T'Challa's missing a leg. His leg is gone, along with the vibranium armor that goes along with it. Because here's the thing. T'Challa was kidnapped by the Vision. Apparently, and as well, along with several other regular surviving human beings. For what purpose? So the Vision could keep his love alive by feeding her human flesh. Yes, the Vision. Okay, remember, the character of the Vision, who we've seen in Age of Ultron and Civil War and so on, the mentality, the sense of wisdom expressed by the Vision regarding humanity and so on and so forth throughout all these series and things. He's like, I've got to keep my zombie girlfriend alive by feeding her completely normal surviving humans during an zombie apocalypse. Love has blinded him, I guess. And only after these people look at him and say, you know how screwed up that is? He's like, golly, gee whiz, I guess that is kind of messed up. So anyway, then he realizes his folly, such as it is. And then, super duper zombie Wanda, Scarlet Witch, appears. Because only now she decides to escape from her prison because her favorite meal, T'Challa, was taken away from her, I guess. And again, mindless, voiceless, brainless zombies still know how to control their powers and whatever, still have capability enough to be a threat. And he couldn't cure Wanda, you see, the same way he cured Scott Lang's head, because her powers were too great. And I suppose after a fashion that kind of makes a little, I guess, sense, because if it's the Mind Stone, an Infinity Gem, that is the source of the cure, and Wanda's powers are in some way, shape, or form an expression of the powers of Infinity Stones, which is one of the theories running, then I guess, yes, that couldn't affect that, I suppose. But then if the Vision realized that, wouldn't he have come to a logical and pragmatic conclusion? Oh, wait, love. So anyway, zombie Scarlet Witch starts attacking, and they're resisting it, and Vision, sort of like, what happens next? I don't even remember now. He busts a hole through the building to help them escape, and then Captain of the Guard gets captured by Wanda and dragged back into the base, and there's a giant explosion as Vision buries Wanda in the building and stuff, which I don't think would kill Wanda zombie at all, but that's what happens. And the Vision's like, go, there's a Quinjet over there, you can escape, and I have to make amends for what I've done. And so then he forcefully pulls the mind gem out of his own head to kill himself. Okay. And with the mind gem now, whatever, it's just sitting there. So zombie Wanda obviously isn't dead. So she pops up again and she's like, rawr, grr, I'm zombie Scarlet Witch, grr. And they're like, oh my God. And Bruce Banner's like pooping himself right here because he doesn't know what he's going to do. And then there's kind of sitting around. And then, oh my God, Wanda sees, remember, brainless zombie rampaging Wanda sees the dead body of the Vision, and something inside of her is still, oh my gosh, my love is dead. And she just zaps Bucky Barnes off into Never Land. I guess he's dead now. And then Bruce Banner is like, uh-oh. And she gets, should she fly away? I can't remember right now. I forget what she does. I think she flies away. Anyway, so she removes herself from the situation. And then they're going to take off in the Quinjet or whatever. And now Scott Lang is being flown around by the Cloak of Levitation, which is kind of funny. That's kind of, I mean, this whole thing's a little funny, I suppose, kind of. Anyway, so some more talk with Peter Parker and Bruce Banner. And now Peter Parker's got the mind gem. And the plan is to take this back to Wakanda because Wakanda. So here's the whole thing. The frequency of the mind gem is somehow the cure for zombification. And the only place left on Earth, apparently, that has the technology and the ability to broadcast this signal across the whole planet is Wakanda, because Wakanda is the only untouched place on the planet because of their super duper force fields. So they're going to go back to Wakanda and take the mind gem there to then hook up to satellites and broadcast the signal. Anyway, they can't take off, or they're not going to be able to take off right away. So Bruce Banner marches out to act as a distraction, except he can't pull the Hulk up because the Hulk conveniently does not show up anymore for some reason. So he just kind of marches out and runs into the zombies, hoping to distract them and or praying that he turns into the Hulk. And then they start getting the engines ready for the ship. And then all of a sudden, nope, he turns into the Hulk and he busts up all the zombies. And there's a big zombie fight. And he's marching through the zombies. Again, I wish there was something more interesting to tell you about this, but it's very straightforward. So then, can you believe it? Zombie giant Hope Van Dyne is still there, and she's still a giant zombie. And what do you think happens? She grabs the ship as it's about to go and leave, but they blast their engines and burn her hands and stuff, and she lets go, and they fly off. And they leave Bruce Banner behind, and it's just the three of them now flying off to Wakanda. And they talk stuff about, keeping a smile on and all very, very, very sentimental stuff. And they fly off into an uncertain future. And there's all the zombies pushing up against the Wakandan force fields. And then we're left with a final image of a zombie Thanos who has the Infinity Gauntlet and is going to use it, I guess, without the mind gem. And he still has wherewithal to... Yeah, and that's the end. That's it. That's the episode. Again, with his invasion force having been overwhelmed and destroyed by zombies, why Thanos would even bother to land on the planet, I don't know. And if he did, with the power of 5 Infinity Gems, he couldn't protect himself. Or if he was bit and understood what was going to happen, he couldn't use reality, or I don't know, any of the gems to stop it. Apparently, quantum zombie virus is stronger than 5 Infinity Gems and a Titan. And that's the end of the episode. It's kind of a downer episode in the sense that, we didn't get a happy ending, obviously, at the end. The world is still devastated by zombies. Even if they could cure it all right now, most people would be dead. It might as well be a kind of snap, at least for Earth. And and if we can operate machinery and vehicles and things while still being zombies, well, then presumably Thanos is going to take this disease off to the rest of the galaxy and the universe because he has the space gem. And obviously zombie Thanos knows how to use the space gem because zombies are still capable of using magic and technology and piloting ships and things. And that's it. Aside from some little goofy, Scott Lang in a jar kind of stuff and some inside jokes, not much there. I do have to also mention one little Easter egg, which some people may or may not pick up on. When they were trying to start up the Quinjet at first, and it crapped out on them, the sound effect you hear is the same sound effect of the Millennium Falcon dying when they first tried to restart it in Empire Strikes Back, and it didn't work. So there's an oral Easter egg for you. But yeah, it's a self-contained story where we don't have to deal with a whole lot of interesting plot devices. Not a whole lot happens. It's zombies and yeah. So it's a little bit Zombieland in the tone and the humor. It's a little bit I Am Legend in the ending, and that there's the hope for a cure, but still an uncertain future. Uh, as far as I can tell, all the characters are voiced by their MCU actor counterparts. I'm not going to say definitively because I've made that mistake before, but my ears told me that just about everybody returned to do their own characters. So there was that. And the animation was decent quality. But yeah, I just kind of shrugged my shoulders at the end, like, okay, that happened. Okay. Yeah, not much else to say. If I had to rate it in relation to the other episodes of this series, I'd give it probably a 2, maybe 1.5. I mean, it was a nothing episode. There was no surprises really. The twists didn't make any sense. Character actions and attitudes didn't make any sense. And again, this wasn't a what if something went a particular way. Like you could conceivably see that in the events of a film, right? Because that was always the thing about the what ifs. For the most part, it wasn't always the case, but for the most part, it was a decision point that you were at least familiar with or could have explained to you in a flashback in the regular continuity where a character went left instead of right. You know? That wasn't here. This was just sort of like visited upon them. Oh, a quantum virus. You know, it wasn't that one of the actions taken by Tony Stark or something. Or I'm trying to think what stuff in the MCU could have caused a zombie apocalypse. You know, the Red Skull doing something and trying to achieve immortality or whatever. Or Doctor Strange screwing up a ritual, right? I mean, something, anything. I don't know, but no, instead it was just sort of foisted upon them. So that felt a little bit like a cheat. You couldn't have come up with something else. Why set it during Infinity War? I don't know. Just so you could have Thanos with a Infinity Gauntlet being a zombie at the end, I suppose. Anyway, so there you go. If you guys have any comments or anything, I'll take a few here before I wrap this up because I have the rest of my day to get back to. It's a llama, Scribelight. Disney could have just delayed this one episode till October. Perfect marketing opportunity lost with Halloween just around the corner. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I thought it might be a good idea to put this off, but given the schedule, I don't think they'd make it to October. They only got like what, 3 or 4 episodes left in this series, something like that. So I guess they could have released it later, but then I don't know what their release schedule is. Isn't She-Hulk supposed to come out? Is it this fall or early next year? I forget now. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, they didn't really dwell on the... I mean, I don't know. It wasn't scary. There's nothing scary about it. I mean, some of the imagery might scare some kids or something, but there's no sense of horror, no sense of suspense. Nothing that I got out of this. Han Strong, and they bite off more than they can chew, ha ha ha, instead of having it focused or juggled correctly. 2 or 3 tones together can work, but it has to be seamless and not tonally imbalanced. That's right. Yeah. The moments of sentimentality didn't jive with the absolute lack of it on either side. You know, plus the sort of goofy Zombieland humor during the entire thing throws you off when they try to suddenly get serious. So, you know, Vision sort of losing his mind to love and Peter giving this speech about smiling through everything and just like, yeah, it didn't fit. Let's see. John Miller says, at least Hitman Ant-Man was more interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, on a scale of internal quality, I guess so far the episode I still like the most is, you know, what if Black Panther became Star-Lord? On balance, that's probably the best episode. That's not saying much, but and anybody else here? Saying Wizard, they still don't understand Spider-Man, but what's new? Yeah, well, as far as I can tell, the clock is ticking. After the next Spider-Man movie, as far as I understand it, Marvel loses the license. He goes back to Sony, and we'll never see Spider-Man again in the regular MCU unless they renegotiate something or other. I think they can probably still make reference to him. He just can't appear in things. So, yeah. And Hans, I wasn't even trying to make a pun. Oops. Well, that's the best kind of pun. That's the best kind of pun, the accidental pun. But let's see. With that, everyone, I'm going to call that there. Again, I wish I had something more to say. There's not a whole lot of depth going on here. There wasn't a whole lot of depth in the episode. Again, I'd put it maybe slightly better than the first episode with the Peggy Carter thing. Sort of, just because there were a couple of moments of humor that were, I kind of grinned a little bit. It was all right. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether, because on any particular day, I could say this episode and the Peggy Carter episode are kind of even Steven on quality as far as the series goes. I don't know what the next one is. I'm not going to look it up if they've said, but I suppose we'll see. Anyway, if you appreciate this kind of stuff, I mean, my streams, not necessarily the cartoon, let me know in the comments below. Or if you think it sucks, let me know in the comments below. Programming note. Tomorrow, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, will be another episode of TED Excellence, where I'll take a look at yet another off-brand TED Talk. The subject I have yet to decide upon, but I have a couple of contenders. Watch my Twitter feed for the announcement of that in the near future. And also, this coming Sunday, aside from my Sunday morning stream, which I'll be doing as well, Sunday, September 12th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing a Q&A/call-in episode to celebrate 5,000 subscribers on my channel. Yes, just short of my 5th year as a YouTuber, I finally hit 5,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who individually and collectively, because it does take both, to bring me to this little milestone. Not as big as some channels, bigger than others, but hey, for me, I'm still just flattered that anybody beyond maybe 5 or 10 people ever wanted to watch or listen to what I had to say anyway. So thank you guys so much for that ahead of time. Please be sure to join me on Sunday, September 12th, 5 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And leave a comment. There's a video on my channel right now. There's the 5,000 subscribers Q&A channel thread or comment thread. If you just want to leave a question or a comment or anything, I'll be reading all of those on there in order of posting on the show on Sunday. So if you can't make it live to tune in or call in, just leave a comment or a question there. I'll get to all of them, short of something being repetitive. And then if you have a microphone, headphones, and a quiet place to talk for a few minutes, and you're able to, and I recognize you, I'm going to be very wary of just letting strangers on, but I'll be posting the link to the stream on the chat box on the Sunday night show so that those of you that are interested and able can come on for a few minutes and say hi or just hang out for a little bit. And so we'll do that. But with all that being said, as I've babbled on too much, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you all have a good rest of your Wednesday. Yes, it is still Wednesday. And yeah, hope to see you on the TEDx tomorrow. The 5,000 subscriber stream on Sunday. I'll also have the Sunday morning stream as well. But everyone, I hope you're all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.